Good morning, everyone. And we want to welcome you to another episode of Pillow Talk Lounge. As always, we're your hosts. I'm James Green, and this is my lovely wife, Cynthia Green.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you guys doing today? Oh my gosh, it's a little bit sunny outside, but it's supposed to be a rainy day. But how about these days? You just never know. The rain clouds have been scattered. So they say you're getting showers and you don't get them. So, how many of you guys know that we like to count rainy days as bad days, but we don't feel that way.
But as they say, when it's summertime and you get 90-degree weather, there's always a chance of rain. It gets so hot and humid that it can always rain. You just never know. So sometimes it's just hard to plan anything, say outdoors, when you don't know what the weather's going to be.
Right. So what are y'all's plans today? Anybody got any big, fun, adventurous plans today? I just reposted a blog that we did in 2021 about summer fun. And so it gave you some really good suggestions on some things you can do to have fun this summer. But we want to know, post it in the comments section. What do you and your spouse have anything fun or adventurous or anything you're planning to do this weekend?
This is that time of year when usually you go on vacation. So is anybody going anywhere on vacation? Because we know that a lot of times when children are out of school, that's the time, usually families will take a family vacation or couples will plan a vacation during the summer.
That's when most of us take time off work to go on a trip. Yeah. So everybody's been traveling everywhere, you guys. But look, speaking of travel, speaking of going somewhere, I want to make sure I mention at the top of the feed today that Couples Fest 2023 is coming up. Woohoo! I'm so excited, y'all. We got so many surprises for you guys this year. We're going to do some different things, a lot of fun things. So it's September 22nd and 23rd. And so it's 2 days of fun in the sun, fun in the room, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be a party going on Friday night with lots of games, activities, and fun. And then on Sunday, we're going to set some speakers with some good information. We're going to do this show live at Couples Fest Saturday morning. So you'll get to be a part of the show if you would like. And then Saturday night, we're actually having a banquet and dance with some great entertainment and great prizes and fun again. So get your tickets because early bird special is over. I'm not real sure the date, but early bird tickets are on sale, you guys. So get your early bird tickets. And the link is going. Yeah, the link is going across the bottom. So we'll share a little bit more about that in a few moments.
And I was going to say, so before we get started, we always ask you to share this out.
That's right.
Because today we're going to be talking about a topic that it may touch everybody. And I know, sometimes, when we pick certain topics, people have a lot to say because they feel a certain way. Like we always say, everybody has an opinion. Everybody feels a certain way about certain things, and everybody's opinion is different. So if we bring up a topic, one person might feel, towards the topic, like, yeah, you're right. And somebody feel, oh, no, that's not right. I would do this or I would do that. So it's always good to find out what people think about certain topics when we bring them up. Go ahead.
And we want to know what you think about this topic because y'all, this is going to be good. I wrote in the description, and I guess you can see it on Facebook, that this is a very controversial topic, especially for Christians, because and I'm just going to be very real, very transparent today. I am not being judgmental. This is just Cynthia's opinion according to what I'm hearing from the Holy Spirit and what God's word says. So as Christians, we're supposed to have unconditional, unfailing, unjudgmental love, especially for our spouse. That's why God says marriage is till death. He knows we're going to have challenges. He knows we're not perfect. He knows some things are going to happen, but he still tells us we're supposed to stay together till death. But we will find every excuse in the book to not honor that.
Right. And that's why you hear some people say, fake Christians or Christians aren't real or Christians are hypocritical because they feel a certain way.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, so last night, Cynthia and I went to a movie premiere of a person that we know that goes to our church.
What you say her name? Jewel Powell. Right. She's the writer, the producer, the casting director, and she wrote the song in the movie. Yeah, she did it all, y'all.
And the movie was called Unfailing Love, and it was based on the book of Hosea. Mm-hmm. And what we want to talk about today is that love. Because when God told Hosea to go marry yourself a prostitute, how many of you would actually do that? If you were praying, you heard from God, would you actually go marry a prostitute? Or would you go marry someone who always leaves you, commits adultery and come back? Because adultery is a sin. Mm-hmm. But like I was telling Cynthia that, if you get a divorce just because you say, I don't love that person anymore, is one sin bigger than the other? Or like we said, would you have that unfailing love? So if your spouse went out, or boyfriend and girlfriend, a lot of times if, you're dating somebody in a serious relationship and they go out and cheat, commit adultery, or just cheat on you, would you accept them back? Mm-hmm. So what does that say if you don't? Do you not have unfailing love, the love that like God has for us? Because trust me, we could go out and sin all we want, but God still loves us. That's right. So if we're supposed to be made in his image and be more like him, should we accept that?
I first just want to read a couple of definitions or descriptions I found of unfailing love online. And according to what this person wrote, the Bible says. So this is from the NIV version and the Easy Standard version. It says that unfailing love is steadfast love. It's a translation of the Hebrew word shakad or chesed, which means deeds of devotion, devout, faithfulness, favor, good, kindly, kindness, kindnesses, loveliness, loving kindness, loyal deeds, loyalty, mercies, merciful, mercy, and righteousness. And it has more here too. But, it makes me think about how my husband always says, I found my good thing. And so, it talks about, favor and goodness. And he says, I have favor for the Lord because what do you always say?
I was getting ready to change that. But listening to what you were saying with that definition is that some people, not being judgmental, like we said, some people say, I still love that person. I still have love for that person. I'm just not going to be with that person because of the way they treat me or the sins that they have. But that doesn't mean I don't love them. Okay. I still love them. I still have love for them. That's what I'm saying. Some people will say.
Okay, yeah, but then if you're married to them, what does the Bible say? What did I just say at the beginning? Till death, right? So go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so we're asking you, if that happened to you, would you take them back? Say, ladies, let me talk to the ladies first. If you're married, your husband goes out, commits adultery, cheats, gets another woman pregnant, would you take him back with that child? And for the men, if your ladies go out and cheat and get pregnant by another man, would you take them back with that child?
So you know what? I have really been thinking about that question myself. For me, for us, babe. I mean, like really thinking about that for us, for me, right? And I thought about it and I said, would I take you back if you went out and cheated on me?
And see, I was watching a movie and I wouldn't say I cheated. I was in an emotional entanglement.
Whatever. He's talking about, he's saying what the movie was saying.
Say it, right. Okay. Because he told his wife, I didn't cheat. I was just caught up in an emotional entanglement.
You know what?
I love that.
People have broken up over that too, because you talking to another woman all the time. She leaves her husband because she feel like he's cheating with the woman. He's not sleeping with her, but he calls her up and talks to her all the time, and she ain't dealing with that. So she leaves too. That's what James is talking about, the emotional entanglement. But what I'm saying is, like, ever since we watched that movie last night, I've really been thinking and praying and in my heart, searching myself deeply. Like, if James cheated on me, and then I also found out the woman was pregnant, but even if he just cheated on me, would I want to dump him? Now, right now in my spirit, I say absolutely not. Now, would it hurt me deeply? Even thinking about it, I feel like that would hurt me so deeply.
But you don't know how you would react if that actually happened. You may say that now, but if it actually happened, you don't know.
Right, but I would hope that I would forgive you and can move past it. Because when I think about you, babe, I think about how you've raised 2 children that you did not naturally birth. Mm-hmm. So if you can do it, why can't I do it? I could birth somebody else's, raise someone else's child that wasn't mine. So you made a mistake. You're not perfect. And I feel like I could forgive you, but you're right. When you're in that situation, you never know. But I believe with myself, I would truly pray to God and ask him for strength, especially if you wanted to stay and you said you was done, you wasn't going to do it again.
But that's where you have to believe that person, have trust in that person, that they're telling you the truth, that they won't do it again. Because let's be honest.
Your trust shouldn't be in them. Your trust should be in God.
Right. And let's be honest.
That's the difference.
A lot of times, you may take that person back. If they do it again the second time, it becomes harder to take that person back, because you had faith in them and you believed them that they weren't going to do it again, and they went out and did it again. So the second time, it seems hard, especially if it's the second or the third time.
Well, it's just like how you said at the beginning that one sin is not any bigger than the other one. So I thought about how if your spouse is an alcoholic or they drink a lot, and they hang out with the fellas and go out drinking and come home drunk, and they keep saying they're not going to do it again, or they didn't mean to,
and they turn around
and they do it again. That sin is no greater than if your husband went out and cheated and had a baby by another person.
So let me ask a question. So if a spouse went out and cheated, and whether they got the person pregnant or not and cheated, would you accept them back? It's the same as if you're having premarital sex, and you're not married. Isn't that supposed to be a sin? So is one bigger than the other? Or if you dump your spouse because you say, I don't love them anymore, just walk away. Isn't that a sin? So is one bigger than the other? But a lot of times people won't accept that person back because you done went out and cheated on me and got another woman, or another, got pregnant by another man, whatever the case may be. You won't accept them back. But here you are, sleeping with somebody and you're not married. They're both sins.
That absolutely. But we as human beings don't see it that way. We counsel people all the time. They dump their husband because their husband don't love on them enough. They dump their spouse because they spend too much money. They dump their spouse because, oh my goodness, they're upset with their spouse because they don't help around the house. They're not helping them enough. I mean, like, we get so mad with our spouse and is ready to get a divorce for all kinds of things. That's not even a sin. Right. So can you imagine if they cheat? That's like the ultimate sin for most couples.
Right.
But we counsel couples that the spouse is a heavy drinker. We can't change them. We can't help them out of that situation. We can't even counsel the person who's drinking because that's not our calling. That's not our area of expertise. Right. That's not what we're here for. We're here to give you tools to work through your problems.
And even if it was, it'll be hard to help a person when they feel they don't have a drinking problem. They may do it occasionally. That's in their mind.
Right.
And they say, I don't have a problem. I only do it every now and then to relieve the stress or whatever the case may be. But someone outside may see it differently.
Right.
They say, okay, they're alcoholic. But you, as the person drinking, may not see it like that. That's why it's hard. So what we're talking about is that unfailing love. So, like we say in the book of Hosea, would you take that person back if they went out and had an extramarital affair, or, got somebody pregnant or got pregnant by another man, or whatever the case may be? Would you accept them back?
So Cheryl said, it may take a minute or two, but I hope I will be able to forgive, depending on the situation of how the individual is moving.
Okay, so let me add, what's a minute? You say it may take a minute. Wait. I know it'll take some time, and I know it's hard to put a time period on how long it would take. Like, you can't say it'll take a month. It'll take 6 months. It'll take a year. You can't say, but you have to. Know. But that person has to build that trust back up.
All right. And all we can do is
you have to try to believe. Right. That's what I was going to say. You have to try. We have to believe them that what they say is the truth, and they may not do it again, and they have to build that back up for you to have faith back in them. I want
to make a comment on how she said, depending on how that individual is moving. So we're talking about, and I'm not judging nobody. This is not pointed at nobody. I'm not saying no names. So we're talking about unfailing love. So when we think about unfailing love and God's love is definitely unfailing. Like he forgives us for any and everything. And all of us has done something that God has had to forgive us for.
Right.
And so he tells us that we're supposed to have the love that he has. In our church, we always say, as Jesus is, so are we in this world. So if we are like Jesus, our love has to be unconditional, especially for our spouses, because that's why he gave us so many commands and rules around marriage, because he knows that you got two imperfect people living in the same house.
But some people will take unfailing love, take the word unfailing love, and say, well, you went out there and you failed our love. Right? You look at the word unfailing.
But you're looking at it in the human way, though. We're talking about God's unfailing love. As Christians,
but if it happens,
supposed to love like God loves.
But if it happens to a person, we're all human. They may all look at it as the human aspect first.
Of course.
Before the God aspect.
Supposed to?
But that's what I was going to say. But is that how it should be? Maybe not.
I want to read Psalms 36:5, New Living Translation. It says, your unfailing love, O Lord, is as vast as the heavens.
So wait.
Let me finish the scripture. Your faithfulness reaches beyond the clouds.
So what is that saying? Is vastness, no matter what happens.
No matter how big it is, how deep it is,
you will still be loved.
Yes, absolutely. Oh my gosh.
But that's God's love. So I feel it's harder on humans to have that. I know God has that, and he loves us no matter what we do. Of course it's
hard for us.
Because when that act happens, where do you go? You go straight to, you failed me.
Okay, so I can talk about it in little ways, and I know I get James feels this way too. So sometimes James says or does something that just really irks my nerves, and y'all, I have to control myself to not make a smart comment every single time, to not turn it into an argument, to not catch an attitude, to not get moody. Like I have to control Cynthia, that I don't let something he says or does affect how I am. And I think that's how God's unfailing love is. He look at us, he's like, you messed up. Okay. Keep working on it. You'll get better. I just believe that in my heart. And I think that's what unfailing love is with us, that should be for our spouses. I believe that's what he's talking about. And the way that it should be is, we look at our spouse. Oh my gosh, he screwed up. Oh, I can't believe he did that or she did that. Oh my God, it hurts so much. But God, I trust you and I believe your word that I can have the type of love that you have, and that I can go deep and down inside and put my trust in you and not focus on what my spouse did wrong. I'm not going to let it ruin my life. I'm not going to let it ruin my marriage. I'm not going to let it, help me turn around for my marriage. I'm going to stick in this thing no matter what, because you are my God, and I know you're going to give me the strength. And for me, that's what unfailing love is. And I know it's easier said than done, but I was sharing with James this morning that what?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was sharing with James this morning that I guess that's what I had in my first marriage, but and you were talking about how people fail at love because they just, I love them, but I'm not, I can't stay in this relationship. Well, for me, I had felt like I had kind of fallen out of love with my first husband, but God told me, and I told him this too, that you are not to walk away from your marriage. But he also told me, and I told him this too, you will never shed another tear over him. So here I am walking around feeling hurt, not feeling love towards him, But guess what? I didn't walk around with an attitude. I put on my music. I walked around the room house smiling and just being friendly and kind and loving, even though I was deeply hurt. Even though he was,
right.
I'm not even going to say what he was doing because, I mean, I really don't care. I've talked about it in my books.
So let me ask this.
But,
is it harder for men or women?
Oh, that's a good one. I think it's harder for men.
I do too, because as a man, you think if your wife did that, we wouldn't accept them back. I think women accept, say if men go out and cheat or, have an adultery or whatever the case may be, the women will be more accepting to accept the man back than the man would accept the woman back. That's my feeling.
And that's probably, and I'm sure that's true. I've not looked at the research on that. So I try not to talk on things that God hasn't either shared with me or I haven't done the physical worldly research on.
That's why I'm asking everyone out there.
Yeah, tell us, do y'all think it's harder for a man to accept his cheating wife than it is for a woman to accept her cheating husband? Now, I will say this, in the human world, in the unmarried world, it seems like, and I don't want to talk about the hip hop culture or the music world, the entertainment world, acting, all of that. But it seems like in that world, it seems like every time you turn around, you're hearing about them cheating. You hear about them breaking up because one of them were cheating. You just hear so much negative stuff about marriage, and not even just marriage, about them dating and them cheating. And I'm like, everybody gets upset about everybody cheating, but it seems like everybody is cheating, the man and the woman.
And I think when you think about a mentality aspect of it, that for a man, it's harder. Because
I know it will be harder for you, babe.
When you look at it,
I've heard it.
When you look at it, it's easier for a man, say, to walk away from his family than it is a woman. Now women are doing it more now, leaving the family and leaving the man to raise the kids. But before it was that it's easier for a man to walk away. It's easier for a man not to pay child support to the woman if she's taking care of kids. It's easier for a man to end the relationship if the woman goes out and cheat. Women seem to be more, maybe they have that more of God's love in them than, say, a man does, more in their heart. Because a man could cheat and they'll accept them back. Say if they did it once, I forgive you, I'll accept you back, that sort of thing. I can't just walk away from my kids, that sort of thing. But that's why I was asking you, do y'all feel it's easier for a woman or for a man?
I think that it's harder for a woman to walk away
from. Let me say this. I know me, because my thinking as a human, I'm not saying as thinking of the love of God, another man running up in my woman.
I knew you was gonna say that.
Oh my God! Or I'm kissing
kissing
my wife, and in my mind,
she been kissing
somebody else.
Oh my gosh! I knew
it's harder.
He was going to say that.
Oh
I knew it. I've heard it over the years, over and over and over again. I'm like, is he trying to warn me or something?
No, I'm just saying it's harder for a man.
But y'all,
that's why I'm asking. What do y'all think? Wait, so let me ask that. Do women feel that way? That if a man went out and cheated, he'll come back to you. You're kissing your husband, and you think he was kissing another woman? Because I know a man's thinking is,
well, we were coaching a couple that the woman cheated, and that husband had a hard time getting over
because what you would think is that wait, you were sleeping with him. My wife was sleeping with another man. Is he better in bed than I am?
What does he have that I don't have? We heard all of it. We heard all of it. Yeah. But most of the time, though, it's the man who's cheated than when we're coaching a couple. But sometimes, a couple of times, it's
that's
been
why
the woman.
I feel, this is James, it's harder for a man to accept a woman back. Because if the woman cheats, the first thing you think of is, dang, another man ran up in my wife. Another man was kissing my wife. What does he have that I don't have? What does he do that I don't do? You would think all those things in your head.
Well,
so I don't know. Do women think the same thing?
Yes.
That's what I'm asking. Do women think the same thing?
What does she have that I don't have? Why would he want her
and
over
especially,
me? Why would he even look at her?
And I think it hurts more if one's cheated, then you see the person you cheated with and it's like, oh, you picked that over me. That's how some people feel. Like, wait a minute. Look at her. What does she got that I ain't got?
But I was talking about how unmarried people.
But sometimes it ain't about looks. It ain't about shape. It ain't about status. Sometimes it's not about none of that.
What's it about?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't know.
Like we were telling a couple one time, sometimes a person cheats simply because they're not getting what they want from their spouse.
Right.
But guess what?
But wait, should they tell their spouse what they're not getting? We talk about communication all the time.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
Go ahead.
But they haven't shared with their spouse what they want, and they feel like they shouldn't have to. Well, can't nobody read your mind?
Right.
Don't nobody know what you want in a relationship if you didn't tell them?
And that's what it goes to what I always tell couples, right? That what worked in your last relationship, maybe the way you hugged, the way you kissed, the way you did everything, it may not work in your current relationship. So you can't think what you did before will work this time around. So what you got to do is, we always talk about, keep those lines of communication open. Talk about, what do you like? What do you want? How do you like it? How do you want it? What do you need? How do you need it? So we'll know. But sometimes men, and let's be honest, men will get offended when you tell your man, you're not doing this right. I don't like that. I like this. They'll get offended. Well, what you mean? I know what I'm doing. They'll get offended. But you can't get offended. You got to take that constructive criticism and learn to please your mate.
But you also got to have that conversation.
Right. And that's the thing. And you can't get, when that conversation comes up, you can't get, I don't know what word to use, but you can't downplay it.
So let's go back to unfailing love. I want to read what the regular definition says.
Is that Webster's dictionary?
It just says the dictionary definition.
Okay.
Of unfailing means without error.
Love that don't fail.
No, we're not talking about love, just the word unfailing.
Okay.
It means without error or fault, reliable and constant.
But the minute you go out there and commit adultery, you fail. You're not reliable.
Right, but we're not talking about the person who did sin.
Okay.
I'm talking about you sinned, and my love is constant. It's unfailing. You can rely on the fact, just like in that movie. Yeah. Every time Ariana came home, he hugged her. He loved on her. He accepted her.
He did. Wait.
My thing was,
this. You're right, because when she showed up, when she left him for, it was about a year, and she came back pregnant, he still loved her. His love was unfailing. He still loved her. He still accepted her. He still accepted that baby and raised it, because she left again. He went to the
hospital with her to have that baby.
She left again.
In a way, it looked like she was using him.
Right.
Because she knew she could depend on him, that he's going to love her.
Because his love was unfailing.
Right. And so that's how we humans would be thinking, like, you know what? He's just using me. He's just, she's just using me. And so I'm falling on, I'm sorry. She was just using him. So sometimes we feel like our spouse is just using us, taking advantage of us, because they know that we're going to do for them no matter what.
And they know every time they come back, you will be there.
Right. They know that you're going to be there for them, that, they got access to you. They got access to your bed, to sex, to the house.
That's taking advantage of the person. That's how sometimes we look at it.
Right. And that's how the person doing wrong looks at it. But the person who may be accepting them, they may be trying to be like Christ. Yep. I have been in that kind of relationship. Yep, exactly. Hey, good morning, Donald. But yeah, you're right. That type of person, like I know somebody that I talked to on social media that his wife was doing that. She was just like Ariana in the Unfailing Love movie. He knew she was cheating on him because he followed her to a hotel, y'all. She was cheating on him. But when he married her, she was, I don't want to say a hooker, but like a call girl or a dancer in the club or something. He married her knowing she lived that lifestyle, and he thought she was going to change, but they didn't really talk about that she was going to change.
But if he had God's unfailing love, it didn't matter. He would always accept her back because he loved her that much.
Right, he probably would have, but she's the one that kept leaving, and she kept putting him out because he was complaining. So let me ask a question. She put him
So
out.
How long should you have that faith, that unfailing love, that the person will come back? How long can you stand and say, okay, I know I have that God's love, that unfailing love, that unconditional love, no matter what she or he does out there, I'm here when they come back. How long do you wait? Is there a time? There's no time period.
No.
So when do you finally get to that point where maybe they're not coming back this time? Or you try to move on and then they come back.
Well, it
and you
depends
still
on
have
what you
that
mean by
unfailing love.
moving on. If you're still married, you can't. You're not supposed.
Right.
Good stuff. So true. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Andrew. But you know what? It's like you can't put a timetable on it. I can only speak for myself. Like, I was in a relationship where he was doing crazy stuff and we didn't have a real marriage, but I stayed no matter what, because God told me not to go anywhere. He told me that I cannot walk away from that marriage. So how long would I have put up with it? I don't know. But guess what? He left. And even when he left, I did not run out and get a divorce. I did not run out and cheat. I didn't run out and do none of that. But after, what was it, 5 years?
But if you believe,
I finally did go and file for a divorce.
But you feel, well,
should I have?
You think if you believe,
yes, because you came along, babe.
If you believe God's word, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you say, I have the unfailing love. I'm not leaving. I will always be here, because you're married, and those vows were before God, and it's a covenant.
Right.
I feel God will turn that situation around for you if you have faith. And you believe in him, he will make it so, okay, you didn't walk away. So I believe he will change it so you see the light.
It takes 10 years, 20 years.
Hey, is that you can't put a timetable on God.
You can't. And guess what? Now this is what Cynthia believes. I know y'all are not going to agree with this. I don't care what your spouse is doing. If you are married and you made a covenant before God, especially if you are a Christian, especially if God told you to marry that person, or God confirmed that this marriage is from him, you can't walk away. You can't.
You're saying no matter what that person does?
No matter what they do.
I'm sorry.
Because I know, but we as humans, we feel like we can and we should. But that's not what the word says. That is not what the word says. Now, in my first marriage, what happened? He left. I didn't do anything for 5 years. I even tried to work it out. I even tried to go and visit him and tried to just, stay a wife, even though he was not around for 5 years, y'all. But it was one of my pastors who said to me, when he left that house, he left the marriage. I was saved, he wasn't. When he left that house, he was no longer covered.
But you feel if two people are saved.
I still had doubt.
You feel two people are saved and that happens.
What happens?
That adultery or the cheating or whatever the case may be.
He didn't cheat.
No, I'm just saying. But we talk about the unfailing love, and if both are Christians, mm-hmm. and one goes out there and commits that sin, and the other has an unfailing love, so the one that's out there doing it, maybe they realize, you know what, I'm wrong. Ask for forgiveness, repent, and come back. But if you do it again, what does that say? That's
what was the woman's name in Hosea? We know Hosea. Ariana. What was her name? No, not in the movie, but in the Bible. I don't even know if they came for her name. It might just be prostitute. Gomer. Yeah, it might be. But she did it more than once. She did it several times, mm-hmm. and he kept forgiving her, because that's what the word says we're supposed to do. How many times he tells us to forgive in the Bible? 70 times 7. He don't mean really 490 times. He means you keep forgiving.
Everyone out there, if
would
that
you
happened
forgive
to you,
490 times?
Would you forgive all those times? How many times could you forgive if your spouse did that on you?
We don't know.
Right. We don't know unless we're in that situation. Right?
Until they realize they are playing the fool. Donna said until they realize.
Wait. But that could be one time. That could be wait. You playing me because trust me, if that happens one time, the first thing I know from men, me, if that happens one time, first thing, wait a minute. She playing me for a fool.
You think I'm stupid.
Right. Especially if, say, Cynthia goes out there and cheats and comes back pregnant. I bet, hold up. Wait a minute. You think I'm going to take you back? And you playing me for a fool? It could be one time. I'm sorry. A lot of times that human aspect will kick in. Especially you miss your spouse. no matter man or woman, you miss them. You want them to come back. You have that love. And then when they come back and they're pregnant, or the man comes back and he got another woman pregnant, your mindset might change. Like, hold up.
So let me just read to y'all some synonyms that they have for unfailing. Y'all, these things are deep. If you really have unfailing love in your heart, which is what God has, what Jesus has, and we're supposed to be being like him.
But that don't mean we all have it.
Oh, I'm just saying, if you have it, it says your love is bottomless. It says it is eternal.
It could be. Just because you can love that person to eternity, but not in love with that person. No, you can still have love for that person.
But does that mean you still gonna divorce them?
No.
Okay, then all right.
But that don't mean you won't stop loving them.
Okay, all right. So we ain't talking about the in love stuff. We talking about love. So let's just talking about. So it says it's inexhaustible. What does inexhaustible mean? Like you can't exhaust your love for your spouse.
And that could be. See, you know what? That's why her and I always go back and forth. As she's reading these words, you can still have all of that. That don't mean you have to be with the person. I love them. I love them to eternity. I love them inexhaustible.
There's no way you love
that don't
somebody
mean you can't love them. Let me tell you. Let me say. Oh my God! No, it isn't. No, it isn't. Because trust me. Listen for a minute. If you have all of this, the words she's reading, love, but you don't stay with that person. If something tragic happens to that person, you feel it because you still love that person.
Okay.
Inexhaustible.
But if you divorce them, 9 times 10, you're gonna fall out of love. Most people don't stay by themselves the rest of their life.
But that don't mean you still have love for that person.
Okay, it says steadfast. It says unflagging. It says absolute. I don't think if you have absolute love, if you have inexhaustible love, if you have bottomless love like God has, you're not going to dump that person.
So if that person goes out and does all this kind of stuff to you, you will still have that love for them.
You're supposed to. You're supposed to.
Okay, let me ask you a question. What if it's abuse? One of them is getting abused. Do you still have that kind of love for them?
Okay.
That's taken to a whole different aspect.
It is. Okay, so of course the Bible gives abuse as a reason that you can leave your spouse. But I believe you can leave them temporarily and pray for God to change them and give them help. That's just Cynthia's belief. But guess what, babe? There are a lot of women that stay with their abusive husband because they love them inexhaustibly. And some of them end up dead, unfortunately.
But then I guess their mindset.
But I don't know if it's a God love. I don't know if that love is a godly love.
But then their mindset would be, it could be my fault. I pushed him, or I know he's going to change.
It's not about the reason. It's about what we're talking about. That absolute love, that ceaseless love, that never failing love, that persistent love. What else they say? Reliable love, rock solid. And people love to say my spouse is my rock, but let them screw up. Are they still your rock? Are they still your rock when they screw up?
They're just a pebble. No, I'm joking.
But I'm just saying, babe, we say we love our spouse unconditionally. And that's the other word I want to use with unfailing. Unconditionally. But we do put conditions. You're putting conditions on your love. But when I look
at all the stuff we're talking about, right? And we want to be more like God, right?
Yes.
We're not. We're not. We don't have what he has. We don't.
Yes, we do.
No. I'm saying like
he gave it to you.
I understand that. I understand that. But in our bodily, in this earthly form, yes, it's in there. But there's still that human. You gotta remember when we talk about Adam.
Carefully.
When we talk about Adam, we were born into sin.
Mm-hmm.
So if we were born into sin, it's in us before we even get to.
Jesus was born into sin,
right? And we try to be more like Jesus, but we're not Jesus. So sometimes that human aspect, because we're on this earthly form, will kick in.
That's right. I'm not saying that it won't. I'm just saying how we're supposed to respond to it.
Of course, it's hard.
Of course you're going to be hurt. Of course you're going to be disappointed.
It's hard for anything. Just like if you get cut off in the road.
Road rage.
No. I'm saying, you'll get upset. Instead of just saying, it's okay, thank you.
I don't. I say, God bless them. Please don't let them get in an accident. Don't let them hurt anybody on the road. I pray for them.
It could be the smallest things
for you. For me, y'all, if somebody even does something crazy in the store or cut me in line, whatever, in a car, I pray for them. I don't want to have an attitude with people. I don't want to not feel the love of God. I'm not perfect, y'all. I'm not. But I'm saying try not to let the little.
She's not.
I try not to.
Don't have her on here full of y'all thinking she's not.
I know I get on his nerves. I know I say smart things to him that I shouldn't say.
See? And is that unfailing love? You getting smart with me all the time.
Yes, it is. I can say some smart stuff to you and still love you deeply, inexhaustibly, because it's inexhaustible because I'm still here. No, but seriously, y'all, seriously, we have to work on our love every day. We really have to learn to be like God more and more every day. We have to, because we got to be ready. He said, be ye also ready. We got to be ready if something does happen. If our spouse does fail, I comment on all of them. Andrew said good stuff, so true. But, well, yeah, I've commented on all of it. Donald has said I've been in that kind of relationship. But yes, so you guys, we just want you to be conscious of growing and being more like Jesus, so that
especially
if something does come up with your spouse or anyone in your life,
especially when it comes to
you can have love,
the unfailing love. You know, we just want you to try to have that type of love.
In that movie, he kept taking her back. Y'all.
Right, have that type of love for people, for your spouse, for your mate that Jesus has for us. Because trust me, he still loves us. No matter what sin we've done, no matter what sin we may do, he still loves us.
And I also want you guys to think about this. Search yourself to make sure that you are being the spouse that your spouse needs, and so that they won't have a reason to want to go out and cheat or drink or smoke or do something wrong. You can't control what nobody does, but you can only control what you do. What can you do to make your marriage better? What can you do to make yourself a better person? Just overall, search yourself. That's what I get so frustrated with when we're talking to couples. They want to point the finger at their spouse, what they're doing wrong. But I see you on there, you're fussing, you're complaining, you're just so negative, you got an attitude. How's your spouse going to be different if you're not?
And like I always say, you need to communicate. If you're not getting what your spouse is giving to you, explain that to them. Help them give you what you need. Help them give you what you want. Help them to do it the way you would like them to do it. That's the only way. You know, we talk about you should be learning something new every day and about educating. And that's the same way in your relationship, in your marriage. You should be educating your spouse, educating them on what you like and what you want from them. And, you know, we talk about that a lot, that you should be, you know, your spouse doesn't really know sometimes, especially when you first get married. They don't really know what you want or what you need. You got to explain
after 5-10 years, y'all,
even
when we talk,
and that's what I was going to say. Even when we talk about the love languages, if they don't know your love language and it's say words of affirmation and they're giving you gifts and gifts mean nothing to you, they don't know that unless you explain that to them. So you have to let your mate know what you want, what you like, what you need, so they can provide that for you, so you can have that loving relationship. Because trust me, when it goes back and forth and you're giving each other what you want, what you need, that builds that strong bond. That builds that strong relationship that'll help you go forward. And when it changes, because as you get older, things change. You know, we all evolve. Some things that you don't like, you may like. Some things that you like, you may not like now. You always got to communicate that to your mate, to your spouse. On, you know, I used to like this. I don't like this anymore. Here's what I like. So they can evolve with you, so they can change with you. All right?
Right. So you guys, come to Couples Fest. You get this kind of information and so much more. I'm excited. We got a sex therapist. And
we'll have these type of conversations where we'll invite you into the conversation and hear your opinion. Not just typing the screen. You know, you could come up onto the mic and say how you feel and share
right.
If you want to share, because I know some people are private, they may not want to share.
And we're going to have some people that specialize in areas. We're going to have a therapist that specializes in cheating. What's the other word for cheating?
Adultery?
No, not adultery. Infidelity. We're going to have a specialist that's a sex therapist, y'all. We're going to have people who specialize in specific areas and topics. We're going to have an expert in money, in finances.
Because they're the big issues.
Right, they're the big issues that couples deal with.
Finances.
And this year, y'all, we're going to give y'all a love kit. And that love kit is going to have all these tools in it, like tools that you actually use around the house to fix things. But it's going to be tools from the Bible that you can use in your relationship also.
Oh, because when she said tools, I'm thinking, you give me a screwdriver?
Yeah, wait till you find out what the screwdriver means, though, y'all. See, every tool in your toolbox is going to mean something that's going to help you.
Because in her toolbox,
help you in your relationship.
In her toolbox, I'm giving her a hammer.
Okay, wait till you see what the hammer means, y'all. Every tool means something. The hammer ain't gonna mean what he thinks it means. We're gonna talk about those different tools in the toolbox leading up to Couples Fest. But we're going to save that until like late August and early September. Mm-hmm. We're going to tell you what those tools are going to be in your toolkit at Couples Fest. So y'all need to get your tickets. I'm telling you, early bird tickets are on super, super special. That special is going off and you're going to have to pay regular price for your tickets. All right. So thank you guys for joining us today. Unfailing love, work on it on yourself. All right. And remember, if you build it, it will last. God bless you guys.
And we'll see you next time.
All right.
Pillow talk, pillow talk.